That food tastes good. She said, Chef BoyAD. Oh my God, you cook it up so G. And the food, it just looks so free. It just is calling to me.
Oh, didn't see you there. How you guys doing? It's LiveInColor here. Chef BoyAD here to teach you guys a bunch of things about Indian cooking today. Recently I went home and my mom showed me a bunch of recipes that are pretty simple. And I think they're really easy for you guys to cook up at home and have that Indian flavor added to your repertoire of cooking. So there's some basics we're gonna go over, the basics of Indian cooking that you need in your household. And basically I would recommend visiting your common Indian market, your nearby Indian market, and gather some of these things, because that's just the easiest place where you can find all of these things in one area. And honestly, you'll find it for pretty cheap, and they have pretty good produce, pretty good ingredients, things like that. First, I just want to bring to your attention this little bowl I have right here. So inside this, there's a bunch of other little bowls and one spoon. This is going to be your spice dish, and that's what we're going to be filling up today. This is what you're going to need for your basics of Indian cooking. So first, we'll start with the turmeric powder. And honestly, this has been making an impact in the marketplace nowadays. People are starting to realize the health benefits that turmeric powder has. And this isn't something new to Indian cooking. People have been using this for a very, very long time. So honestly, if you like turmeric powder, if you're looking for like turmeric vitamins and things like that, they tend to overcharge in the normal supermarket. I would definitely recommend going to the Indian store and getting a big bag of turmeric powder. So today, we have our turmeric powder here, which is gonna be the base. We call this haldi. So that's what I might refer to it as that later on, just letting you guys know. Here we have cumin seeds, and these cumin seeds, just regular cumin seeds, but also good to add to the repertoire. We're gonna add it to the base. So here we have chili powder, and obviously if you don't like your things too spicy, you're not gonna add too much of this. And if you do like your things really spicy, then you're gonna add a good amount. But this is definitely something you're gonna wanna add. It enhances the flavor greatly. And even if you add just a little bit, if you're not really into spice, this is definitely something you're gonna need in your spice dish. So now we have mustard seeds. And this is what we're gonna be using today when we make our poha, and honestly in a lot of dishes. Basically what I've used with the mustard seeds, and you can use it in a variety of different things, but originally you let it sit in oil and the mustard seeds start to splutter on low heat. And as they start to splutter, that's the dish opening up, and you can start to add your different ingredients in it and start to let things cook. So these are the basics, and this is what we're gonna fill in our dish here today. And basically these are things you can keep in your kitchen just to go on, and they'll last forever as long as you keep them properly sealed. Another thing I would just like to add real quick, lemon juice is a very key ingredient to have. Adds a lot of acidity, but perfect punch flavor. I'm a very citrusy guy. I like the lemon juice. So I tend to add a lot of lemon juice in my food, but definitely even if you add a little bit, I would recommend you need this in your house. I'm gonna fill up my spice dish real quick, and there's 7 bowls in here. Probably don't need all 7 bowls, but I'm gonna fill 2 up with the turmeric powder and 2 up with mustard seeds, because those are things I think I'm gonna use often. So just looking forward, I'm gonna fill up 2 dishes with that. Make use of everything we have, you know? This is mustard seeds right here, so I told you I'm gonna fill up 2 containers of these mustard seeds because I intend that I'm gonna use a lot. And this is the type of stuff you don't want to breathe in. You know, if you breathe that in, you might want to get some medical attention. So we have one bowl free right now. We're not gonna worry about that. We're just gonna let that be as is. Really, you could just pour salt in there, but we have a special salt shaker, so I'm gonna use that. But that's what that other dish would be for, is a bowl of salt. And there you have your basics for Indian cooking. Now, I also want to add real quick, this right here, my mom calls this hing, and I'll read the scientific name for y'all. Compounded asafoetida powder. And basically this is supposed to reduce that bloated feeling you get from sometimes when you eat at Indian restaurants and things like that, they tend to use a lot of oil and butter and cream, and that can leave you with a really bloated feel. And when you come home, usually you get this thing called the itis, where you just pass out on the couch and you can't really do anything, you just go to sleep, and then about 3 hours later, you don't know what happened, but you wake up and you're feeling a lot better. So to prevent the itis and let you able to go about your day, we use a little bit of this also in the beginning of dishes. All right, so let me get my workplace cleaned up and we're gonna move on to cooking poha, which is flattened rice, can be eaten for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Fantastic dish for y'all. Very easy, many different variations to spice it up in different ways, make it salty, sweet, hot. And we have this thing called namkeen, which is like a spicy snack mix, but they also make different flavors. They're sweet and all different types of things. There's corn flakes and other things like that inside. If you haven't tried anything like this before, I would highly just recommend getting it. You could just eat it as a snack, try it. Good. We're gonna garnish this at the end on our dish, and it's gonna add a little extra flavor. Also have some honey roasted peanuts. You can use regular peanuts, like regular roasted peanuts, doesn't have to be any type of finish or anything like that. And you could add that into your dish as well for an added crunch if that's something you would like to have. I do like the added crunch, so that's something we're gonna need. We also have lemon juice, as I told you, key ingredient. Key ingredient. We have frozen peas, and this is something I really like to have. If you don't have frozen peas, it's okay. You can still make the dish without it. You can just make it with this rice. But I would highly, highly recommend using this. It adds a really nice, different texture to the dish. Also have some salt and some oil. I would recommend vegetable oil, but today we're gonna be using canola oil. And then before I boiled some potatoes. Now this is an added, this is an additional ingredient you can add to your dish. Don't really need it, but I really like potatoes and it adds another flavor, another texture, something else in the dish. So I'm all about that. I'm gonna show you guys everything. But again, as I'm telling you, this dish is really malleable. So basically, however your flavor taste is, you can build it to your own profile. And even if you're making the same thing for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you can have it 3 different ways just by messing with the proportions of different ingredients, or adding some things and not adding other things. So let's get into that right now, guys. So my mom is all about simplicity and keeping things as easy as possible. So I guarantee her recipe list and her ingredients are probably very different from your own. But we're here today and I'm showing you the simple version of how to make these things. If you want to add your own variations, let me know. Let me know how you're spicing up the dish. But let's get into this for the basics, guys. Recording? Ready? Alright. So, other thing I forgot to mention are curry leaves and mint leaves. Now, these are great if you have them fresh, but again, my mom is all about the simplicity. So in saving you trips to the grocery store, we have these in bags and we just keep them in the freezer. And then when you need them, you pull out a couple leaves and put them in a bowl of water, kind of let the leaves just come back to life away from the frozen state, and then they're good to go in cooking. So I would highly recommend getting this and just keeping it in the freezer. We have curry leaves and mint leaves here today. First thing I'm gonna start with is just taking a couple of curry leaves, and basically I'm gonna put them in a bowl of water, and as I said, let them come to temperature. In the tools we have today, I'm gonna be using this spatula to mix around the rice. We have a peeler, though I don't think I will need this. This will be for the potatoes, and again, if you're not cooking potatoes, you don't need the peeler at all. So then we have a trusty spoon that will also aid in our mixing process. Now let's get to it. But as you can see, these are the frozen leaves. We're just gonna put these in. This is more than enough, more than you would need. And just make sure you don't put the stem inside. Don't really need that. Don't need that. You can even take a smell. It smells fantastic. That's the thing I really enjoyed cooking with my mom at home, because as I was cooking, I had a different appreciation. All right, hold on. Let me just close the freezer first and then talk. That's the thing I really enjoyed with cooking with my mom at home. Like before, when she used to cook these dishes, I just used to sit down at the table and eat. And now I had a different appreciation where I was learning how to cook. And as she was showing me these things, she was just really telling me how to smell for the proper smell to let you know that things are ready to keep going, add the next ingredient, things like that. And the smells really get you, man. So if you get to cook this dish, make sure you stop for a second and smell your ingredients. Smell the dish every step of the way. It's fantastic. So don't need too much water, just need to let those leaves sit in there. And then I have some more water here, I'm gonna keep the mint leaves in, let them chill there for a little bit. So let's get started. Gang, first thing, we're gonna take our poha. We're gonna open this bag. Scissors, always need the scissors. Kitchen scissors, most useful tool. I think it's mad slept on. Measure accordingly to what you need in terms of how much you're cooking and how much you're eating. This is basically, like, you can see pretty much how much is there and how much is gonna cook too. All right, so now basically what we need to do is soak this in water, and we're just gonna let this soak until we get the rest of our dishes ready in the pot and let the ingredients cook. But this can soak right now and it'll be done by the time we need it. So our bowl is soaking right here of poha in water. Now it's time to get started on the stove. Will you join me over here, Hudson, please?
Of course.
Get our stove lit and put some oil on. Not a crazy amount, but we want to be a little generous. First thing, mustard seeds, as I mentioned. And you want to make sure that your stove is on a medium heat. As I told you, I'm cooking for 3 people right now, so I can probably add even another half spoon of mustard seed. Can't go wrong with the mustard seed. Now we're gonna let this develop, and you're gonna start to see the spluttering. Now you always want to keep a cup of water nearby when you're cooking, and that's specifically because as we're beginning to add these ingredients in, we want to make sure that nothing gets burned. So if it starts to get too high temperature or something like that, you can always just add some water in, and eventually as you cook the dish, the water will dehydrate and your dish will be perfectly fine. So it's always good to have a cup of water nearby. Alright, so now it's getting very hot, spluttering, crazy. A lot of spluttering, very high heat. So we're gonna turn that down a little bit. Let it chill. Now it's ready for the turmeric powder, the haldi. Add that in. And honestly, just gonna add a tiny bit of water after we add the haldi in. So this is the turmeric powder. Add about 1.5 spoons as well. And we're here with this. And we're just gonna let that kind of settle in. Add a tiny bit of water, Again, there's oil inside, so be very careful. Don't want that to burn. Alright, so we're gonna let this settle right now. We have our haldi, a little bit of water, just a dash. So I'm gonna keep it 100% honest with y'all. If you burn it in the beginning, don't be afraid to restart. All we did so far was just add a little bit of spices, so don't worry about it. If it gets burned, just feel free to retry, because you know this is a trial and error process. It's gonna take a little bit of time to understand what medium heat on your stove is and how that's working and everything. So start at a much lower heat, I would highly recommend, and then you can build that heat up later. So now we have our potatoes ready to add those in. Ooh, that sounds beautiful, love it. Gorgeous sound AD. Alright, so keep this on a little bit lower heat right now. We'll let those chill for a second. Let's take care of our poha that has been sitting in the water. So now we have this, we're gonna drain this as best as we can. Don't wanna squeeze all the water out, because as I said, you're gonna heat this up on the dish. It's gonna dehydrate all the water, so don't have to worry too much, but we're gonna spill out as much water as we can. Excuse me. If you have a strainer, that's best case scenario. Alright, we're back over here. Now, Hudson, you sampled one of these potatoes. How did they taste?
They were pretty good, honestly. I really liked it.
Now, it's time for us to add our poha in. We drained it. And it's okay that there's a little water in here. Definitely want to mix it immediately. So you can see the rice is getting a yellow color. Could have even used a little bit more haldi. Turmeric powder. Sorry. Used to my mom giving me the directions. But you can see now we've added a ton of rice in. Are gonna need to add this up a little bit, but it was nice to add it on low heat so that we could mix everything together without risk of anything burning. So it's adding this yellow color in right now. Definitely forgot to add the curry leaves. So you could have added that in the last step. But we're chilling right now. Just going to take these curry leaves and sprinkle them in. And this heat is very low right now, it's chilling. Curry leaves in here, so ready? All right, so we have our curry leaves in here, fully cooking. Now the rice has taken this beautiful yellow color, right? Now the water, if you have too much water in here right now, the rice is gonna start sticking together, and that's definitely not something you want. So at this point, we have a decent amount of water. We're gonna turn the heat up a little bit so that we can boil that water out. Now, you can see those black dots inside, those are the mustard seeds, adding beautiful texture to our dish. And these curry leaves right here. Perfect time to add our lemon juice, opening the dish, as well as a dash of salt. All right, got our lemon juice. Now, I'm a wild man when it comes to the lemon juice, so I tend to add a decent amount. You don't wanna go too crazy, but yeah, something like that is a little nice. I don't like salt too much. I feel like, especially when you're cooking meats, a lot of salt is already in the ingredients you're adding, so you don't need to add more salt. But in this dish, always fantastic. Now, we didn't add our frozen peas in. Just gonna add a couple of these. Great thing about frozen peas, they cook very, very quickly. So even though we messed up and we added them a little bit later, they're still at a great consistency right now. Another minute, honestly, at low heat, chilling, and we're good to go. You gotta season to your own taste, and I realized this dish is a little not as spicy as I would like it. I'm gonna add a little bit of chili powder in there, as well as some more lemon juice. The lemon juice, man. A little crazy. We like to get a little crazy in the kitchen. Crazy amount of lemon juice right there, right? Wild. So again, there's water, it's cooking. If you need water to add in, if you think your stuff is getting a little stiff, I think there's a little bit excess water in here actually, so it can dehydrate a little bit, cook out. But for the most part, just want to mix that chili powder together. All right, so we take our poha right here, right? Got the peas, got some potatoes, need to get the potatoes in there. You feel me? We're gang, we're ready. All right, nice little plate right there. Smells beautiful as I'm ready. Smells beautiful, right? Now, wanna get a little crazy with it, right? If you like lemon juice, add a little bit more lemon juice. I'm trying to tell you, this is the way. Don't get it twisted, man. Other can add mint leaves, you know? Add these little mint leaves, adds a little bit of taste. Very nice, flavor, garnishing, beautiful, right? So we got mint leaves, lemon juice. Now, moving on, changing the game, we got roasted peanuts right here. I chose the honey roasted, but you can go with regular ones too. So, open this up. Fresh seal, shout out Hudson. The brand new peanuts. And these are great because not only can you add them to your dish, but you can just have them as a little snack. So we're gonna sprinkle a couple on here, right? Don't go too crazy with it. Too much nuts, not great. And then here we have this namkeen mix. Now this is a special type of namkeen mix. Namkeen means snack mix. And this one has a mixture of all different things. Now there's one that has the straight bhujia, which is the long strands. I'm not sure what they're made of, man. I have to look it up. But they're kind of spicy if you eat a lot of them. So if you just get a bag straight of those, it's gonna add spice. And you know, sometimes you can just have a bowl of that, put lemon juice in, and then eat that. You know, lemon juice, key, I'm telling you. But here we have this right now, this mixture. And you can eat this mixture just as is. It tastes really good. My homie Lorenzo tried it, and he really liked it. He's been dogging this bag. but we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of this on here, right? Now, our dish has a little bit of crunch. It has honey roasted sweetness, and it has poha, which has the mirchi, the spice, as well as peas, potatoes. Whole dish right here, beautiful to eat. Took less than 10 minutes to cook. So, gang, we out here, man. Let's get to the taste testing. Please grab a spoon, guys.
We're not.
Are we doing? Are we?
Ready? Yes. They're
Taste
out here with the
test
taste
time.
test. Hold up. Can I
Here we
get a
go, here we
zoom?
go.
Can I get a zoom? Ooh.
I got a potato in mine.
That's good.
That's good?
I can taste the turmeric.
That's
Yes.
very good.
The turmeric is what's giving it that yellow color right now. Pretty much just the turmeric. But out here, enjoying.
That's good. That's good.
So I hope you all enjoyed that dish today. It's time for us to get down to eating and check out some of our other recipes. We got a lot more coming towards y'all soon. So tune in, and if you guys have any recipes to share, make sure you leave it in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay safe, hydrate or dehydrate. Have a good one. LiveInColor.
That's excellent, yeah.
That was excellent.